reflection. You see the top? Tilt up. Oh, it's a beautiful lake. Just a fantastic spot. You know, I could have gone up here with all the equipment myself, but it's just, I think, would be a little too much with all the food and water, the tripod, the camera gear. Anyway, it's around, I guess, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Lighting is perfect. I'm going to set up a nice wide shot of this lake. The rock formation up there is very, very special. Okay, so all the gear survived the hike up. We just got here, we didn't even take a few minutes off to have some water. Right off the bat, we got to start working. So here's the old camera. Okay, the proper way to dismantle one of these cameras. So you undo the back plane, you undo the clip, put it under the handle, slide it open, and clip it into place. There's a little notch there. Then you have to slide the back plane back, unhook the pivots for the front plane, and slide the front plane to the back, so that these things, when you lift up, doesn't rub against your bellows. If you do that quite often, then your bellows will get worn out and ripped. I've had this camera for over now 25 years, and the bellows are still very good. Here, I'll take this. Here, I built this. It's a backing, and I'll use the wide lens. Here's the clip for the lens. I open it up. I open the lens up, put it at f8, full aperture, slide it in, close it. Now I get my trusty little magnifying glass and my release mechanism. Great, now I'm ready to start setting up the shot. So it's a little high for me, so I'm going to lower the tripod. And so I'm in the wild, I have to kind of rotate it so I don't break the legs. Now this composition is going to be horizontal. And right now the ground glass is in its vertical position. I will make it horizontal just by doing it like this. You can actually look inside the camera. This is what it looks like. So now I'm ready to take a look through the lens. When I was young, I didn't have to wear glasses. It was pretty handy. But now that I'm almost 60 years old, I need tons of glasses, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. But it's okay. Okay, so I've been waiting a long time to do this picture. I'll take my hat off. Now, whenever you take a picture, the most difficult part is focusing, and that's what I concentrate on the most when I look through the ground glass and I compose the image. I have one front plane I can focus and one back plane. And it's nice, I can actually fit in that high little hill up ahead of me, and I got my wide lens and I got the part of the lake, and it's just, the lighting is nice cross lighting, so there's good relief on the rocks. I'm very, very happy with what we're doing today. Now, with my finger here, I'm going to adjust the front plane, tilt the bottom a little bit towards me so I can have the bottom of the lake sharp, and at the same time the top of that little hill. And I adjust it so the plane is sharp all the way from the top to the bottom. It takes a lot of concentration to be able to do such maneuvers, but after you photographed a few hundred negatives, then you start getting much better at it. Okay, so the top and the bottom are focused. I tighten up the planes. I'm going to double check. Oh, it's looking great. I'm so happy with this. It's just such a beautiful shot. I'm one lucky guy. So now I tighten up with my left hand. I tighten up the front and the back plane so that they can't move. And I keep looking through my magnifying glass. And this is how I use my magnifying glass. I look from the top to the bottom. And everything is upside down with these cameras, right? After a while, you get really good at understanding how things look upside down. So this is essentially what I'm doing behind the cloth. And I tighten up all my knobs. Everything's good. Any volunteers to look through the camera? I really would like to. You would like to? Be my guest. I always invite my spectators to look through the lens. Hein, ma mignonne, vas-y. Allez-y, mademoiselle. Monsieur, je vous en prie. Si vous voulez regarder, allez-y.
Oui, j'ai jamais fait ça.
Voilà.
Alors attendez, on va ça.
Mademoiselle. Allez-y.
Ah ouais, c'est tout à l'envers. Tout à l'envers. Ouais. Mais c'est tout petit aussi. Il y a comme ça qu'on prenait des photos.
I usually let the spectators look through the camera because it's quite unique. And now I'm going to double check all my focuses to make sure everything's in order. And everything looks totally groovy. I'm very, very happy. Okay, it's a beautiful thing. Now I have to adjust the back plane 1 millimeter back because the ground glass isn't exactly set to the distance of my negatives on my cartridges. So by eye, I pull my back plane 1 millimeter back, like that. Now I get my light meter and I set my light reading. But first I decided to use a red filter. So here's my red filter. It's a beautiful thing. It really brings out the blacks of the sky and of the lake. Makes everything nice and dark. So I put my red filter on the front here. Okay, the red filter exposure compensation is 2 2/3 stops. Okay, so I get my light meter, my trusty Pentax, and I go with the highs, 13, the sky's 15, the grass is 13, the rocks 13.1, the dark rocks 12, and the lake is 12.1 and 13, and I got some 14s. And so I'm going to put it around 13 2/3 EV with a 100 ASA film minus 2 2/3 stops gives it 16 ASA, which is, I'll do 1/4 of a second at f/22. So I set f/22 here, which gives me a good depth of field. There's hardly any wind, so I can go at 1/4 of a second. I close my lens, I arm the shutter, and I do a test. Okay, that's good. Now I get my film. Okay, so So here's a film cartridge. Each cartridge holds 2 films. This side is black, which means that I've already exposed it a few days ago. And this side is white, so it's ready to go. I just rub it a little bit, get off any extra dirt. Put it in position. I slide my film holder in. I wiggle it a bit so it snugs in there perfectly. I arm my shutter. Shutter's armed. I pull the security out. I look in the direction I'm shooting. Take the picture. I flip the security. Slide it back in. And this cartridge is exposed both sides, and I just took my picture. Because it's such a beautiful picture, I'm going to take another one. All my cartridges are numbered, so I always start with the lowest one and the odd. That way I don't get too confused. Everything's in order. Slide it back in. I just wiggle it a little bit. I arm my shutter. I take out the security plate, take the picture, return the security plate around. It's done. That's the shot. Okay, so I found another location, another shot over there. It doesn't warrant me disassembling everything and putting it in my knapsack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I carry the camera when I don't put it in the knapsack. And this is the technique. First of all, I make sure all of the knobs are really tight. And second of all, I do a visual inspection for the mount to make sure everything is really tight and proper. Then I take my bulb, I roll it over, and then I cover the camera with the cloth. I put all my equipment in my trusty bag here. I'm going to zip it up. Take my knapsack. And my trusty assistant Nork will take the food bag and the ski poles. And now, generally, when I take my camera, I generally have the lens facing down, but everything is covered. And I just take my tripod, fold it, and put it on one shoulder like this. And away I go. Come on, Uma, follow me.